On the outskirts of Kilkenny stands a country house, built from the best bits of a much larger country house. A once vast Palladian mansion, demolished, abandoned, then reborn as something new and unusual on the books of agent James O'Flaherty.
Jenkinstown House is just a portion of what used to be here or what was built in the early 1800s. As you can see, it's very unique.
Architecturally, Jenkinstown always was a bit extra. Where else would you get a Regency chapel next to a Gothic revival dining hall and a 3-storey Georgian tower? Maybe that's what attracted the 19th century poet and songwriter Thomas Moore.
Just adjacent to the property here itself, you have an archway which leads out to a secret garden with the memorial site of Thomas Moore. When Thomas Moore was a frequent visitor of Jenkinstown House in the early 1800s is when he was inspired to write The Last Rose of Summer.
Just like the song it inspired, Jenkinstown House is, well, florid. From neo-Gothic theatricality to the Regency bling of its Georgian living quarters, this place, all 6,500 square feet of it, is home to nearly every architectural notion of the 19th century, which makes it quite the home.
This tower is made up of 3 floors. So on the first floor you have the bedrooms, which you have 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Then we're here on the drawing room, and then downstairs you have the kitchen and another formal living room.
It's only fitting that the house that inspired one songwriter owes its renaissance to another one.
So the previous owner, the very well-known singer-songwriter Jimmy McCarthy, renovated this over a 6-year period. This unique home is currently used as a family home, and it was before for Jimmy McCarthy, so there's no reason for it not to be a family home again.
Adam's at the window, staring at the apple trees on fire.
Not every family could live in an architectural curiosity like this. But back in 2020, the charms of Jenkinstown, one of them in particular, were too much for current owner Caroline and her daughter Karima to resist.
We were looking for a place to buy together, and we were outbid numerous times. And then one day I looked in the property section and I saw auditorium, and the price seemed good. And because Karima is a musician and her partner, the plan was to come down here and put on concerts.
Yes, auditorium, because that's what previous owner Jimmy McCarthy had turned the chapel into. A bespoke performance space wired for sound, waiting for an audience.
And it's fully acoustically treated, a 100-seater auditorium and recording booths and a master recording and mixing suite. That was like a dream come true for me as a composer, sound engineer, so the facilities are fantastic.
Seeing her daughter in full command of her own venue inspired Caroline to create something similar for herself. And so, lacking a nest egg, she hatched a plan.
You know how it is, you never think you're going to get old, everyone else will. So I never thought about pensions, so my plan was to have shepherd's huts. I'm used to meeting people because my mother had a bed and breakfast when I was young, so that was second nature to me.
2 years ago, Caroline opened a small but lucrative glamping site on the quiet side of the house, so as not to disturb the maestro.
I obviously love the auditorium as a musician and my office, which is the mixing suite, and obviously the beautiful gardens as well.
Like Thomas Moore's Last Rose, time is fleeting. After just 4 years at Jenkinstown, Caroline, Karima and the rest of the family are moving on.
Well, the reason for leaving probably stems from myself, because I've had the baby and my work is taking off in Dublin. The opportunities are there, composing music. The priorities have shifted from putting on events and concerts, I suppose, to another aspect of the music industry.
The next owner could be a hedge fund manager or an international arms dealer. But given the creative, eccentric vibe of this place, probably not.
I could see a visual artist here as well, because the light is so fantastic and the space is just so vast, and the space lends itself to so many different things. I hope somebody who could appreciate the surroundings, the setting, and Yeah, I suppose to keep in line with Thomas More, it would be lovely to have someone who is in an artistic kind of way.
Well, I know whoever lives here in the future, they'll be very happy. There are good vibes in this building.
So the likes of this would appeal to somebody moving out from the city, and as well, a lot of our buyers, over 50%, are actually looking for something unique like this for a holiday home with its rich history as well. Jenkinstown House is quoted at 975,000, and that comes complete with 6.7 acres.
Of course, the cat isn't included.